Every time I eat at my in-laws' house, I end up feeling sick. Today was no different. After coming home from lunch, I was stuck in the bathroom with unexplained stomach pain. "Hey, are you okay? You barely ate anything today." My husband kept calling out to me through the door, and I weakly responded, "I'm not feeling great, but I'll manage." Still, it was much better than when I first rushed into the bathroom after getting home. When I finally came out, my husband was standing there looking worried, car in hand. "Lisa, you look pale. We should go to the hospital." He had apparently been holding the car keys, ready to take me. Maybe I'll be fine if I lie down." "Well, I ate the same thing, and I'm fine, but you're delicate, Lisa." I couldn't laugh at his usual joke today. I'm not from a wealthy family, and I'm not a delicate lady, but when my husband first met me, he thought I looked fragile and assumed I was some kind of princess. Love is blind, they say. David idolizes me, maybe by 130%, but it's true that I have a sensitive stomach, probably inherited from my parents. I was raised by a very hygiene-conscious mother, always careful about expiration dates. I have been careful not to eat anything that is even slightly rotten. On the other hand, my husband David's family doesn't care about expiration dates at all. They'll eat expired canned food, milk, and yogurt without a second thought. They're a big, hearty family, always eating and laughing. I was initially overwhelmed by their energy, but they're good people, just like David. Still, my mother-in-law buys 5 bottles of milk a week, even though it's just her and my father-in-law. Their fridge is always packed with food of unknown age, so that's probably why I always end up with an upset stomach. I'm Lisa, a 32-year-old office worker. I married David 2 years ago. He's the eldest of 5 siblings, with 3 younger brothers and 1 sister. The second and third siblings have moved out for their jobs and marriage, and only the 4th still lives at home. We considered moving in with them, but their house is old and cramped. My father-in-law, Joseph, suggested we save up and build a new house for all of us. I was grateful for that and had a good impression of him. I thought I could do well with this father-in-law, but then something unexpected happened. About a year after we got married, the youngest sibling moved out for work. My father-in-law said, "Now all our children are grown, and we can relax." He looked very emotional. We finished cleaning up by noon, and it was 11:30 when I glanced at the clock. Just as I was about to signal David that it was time to go, my mother-in-law Jessica called out from the kitchen, "Everyone, lunch is ready. Come and eat." I tensed up at the sound of her voice. I can't handle her cooking. It always gives me stomach pain. At first, I thought it was just nerves, but something was off. But it seems strange. David, who knew the situation, whispered in my ear, "What do you want to do? Should we go? I can just not eat when they've gone to the trouble of preparing it." "Let's eat it. It's okay," I replied, lacking enthusiasm. Just in case, I took some antacid I always carry with me. When I walked into the kitchen, my mother-in-law handed me a plate with a big smile. "Lisa, you're so skinny. Eat up." Yes, thank you." I said, "You have helped us a lot today. Don't hold back. Eat." My father-in-law was also smiling. I scanned the table and saw hot dogs lined up on a large plate. This shouldn't upset my stomach. Watching my brother-in-law, who's already eating, I grab a hot dog. I can't help but smile after the first bite. It's delicious. It's a bit salty, but it doesn't taste off. I should be fine. I have always wondered, why do I get sick when I eat at my in-laws? Maybe it's because my mother-in-law buys in bulk, and I end up eating expired food. Or maybe it's because her cooking is too greasy. She often makes rich, flavorful dishes. My husband and the rest of the family have no issues, but my stomach is sensitive. But today, it's just hot dogs, bread, sausage, and lettuce. I eat the hot dog without worry. However, on the way home, my stomach starts to hurt. Holding my aching belly, I ponder in the bathroom. I even start to get a terrible headache. Being in a cramped, hot space on a scorching day like today makes me feel faint. I was already tired from helping my in-laws clean their house under the strong sun. I ended up getting dehydrated and had to go to the hospital for an IV. After that day, my husband became extremely concerned about me, and our visits and meals at my in-laws decreased significantly. Work, errands at my parents' house, friends' weddings. We kept finding reasons to decline their invitations. Neither of us wanted to say or think that my mother-in-law's cooking was the cause. My husband and in-laws are fine eating the same food, so it must be my body. I want to believe, but nothing happened on the days we didn't eat her cooking. We both started to suspect my mother-in-law. Then my husband got a call from her. His younger brother is getting married, and they want to have a family dinner at home to meet his girlfriend. I hear my brother-in-law's girlfriend is coming. My husband suggested eating out, but my mother-in-law insisted on doing it at home to save money. She said, "We can't become a real family unless we accept each other as we are." I respect that, but I don't want her to cook alone. When I offer help, she declines. The kitchen is small, and I'm used to it. "I'll handle it," she says adamantly. So I couldn't even supervise. I was extremely anxious because she would be cooking alone again. My husband, who has seen me suffer every time, asks, Are you going to say you're sick again?" But it would be rude to say that when everyone's gathered. Even though I eat the same food from the same large plate as everyone else, I'm the only one who gets sick. I can't help but suspect my mother-in-law is doing something. But it's baffling. Lately, even a small amount makes my stomach hurt. "Just take it easy, okay?" My husband kindly reassures me. Then comes the day of the meet and greet. 13 people gather at my in-laws' house, including us, my husband's second younger brother and his girlfriend, and my sister-in-law's family with their kids. We sit closely packed, divided between the small kitchen table and the living room. Place cards written by my mother-in-law are already set. My husband sits next to me. The dinner starts, and we toast, my husband with beer, and me with iced tea. Today, in addition to the large plate of appetizers, individual dishes are also served. The table is so crowded with food and drinks that my husband ends up eating the dish prepared for me. That moment, oh, it hurts. My husband clutches his stomach and doubles over. When I look at him, he's grimacing in pain, sweat beads on his forehead. "David, I have never seen my husband in such agony. Are you okay? Should we go to the hospital?" I blur out loudly, panicked. The room falls silent at my shouted, "Hey, what's going on?" "Are you drunk?" My father-in-law, sitting diagonally across from us, asked hurriedly. My mother-in-law, who had been bringing food from the kitchen, stops and stares at the strange scene, then at me, my husband, and the plate in front of us. "David, you didn't." Her face turns pale, and she yells, "Spit it out. Spit out all the food that was meant for Lisa. You shouldn't eat it." That's when it hits me. Why does David have to spit out the food if he ate mine? "Jessica, did you put something in it?" She looks like she has been caught, but it's too late. "So, you're saying the reason Lisa always gets sick after eating Mom's food is..." My husband glares at her, still in pain. Flustered, she tries to rush us out. "Never mind that. Go to the hospital, Lisa." "Get the car." I put aside my suspicions about her for now and start gathering our things to take my husband to the hospital. "I need the bathroom." My husband rushes to the toilet. 5 minutes? 10 minutes. he doesn't come out. Everyone else, including my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, waits anxiously without touching their food. I hear my husband's groans and get increasingly worried. I also get a stomach ache from stress. Finally, after about 15 minutes, he comes out. "Sorry to keep you waiting." I feel much better. My husband emerges from the bathroom, looking surprisingly refreshed. "Are you okay?" I'm taken aback, and my mother-in-law rushes to him. "Yeah, I'm feeling better after letting it all out," he says, just that, and glares at her. "Mom, you better explain. How did you know the food was causing my stomach pain?" Resigned, she confesses in front of everyone that she had put a laxative in my food. She didn't like that I was picky about eating due to my sensitive stomach. She thought I was stuck up. She also didn't like when my husband would say, "Lisa is a lady." She thought I was too skinny to be a suitable wife for her son and wanted to teach me a lesson. Everyone is speechless at her terrible confession. "Mom, you're the worst." The first to speak is my sister-in-law, Karen. Her husband also looks conflicted. "There are things you should and shouldn't do." "Unbelievable, Mom, you have let me down." My mother-in-law tries to justify herself. "But it's just an over-the-counter laxative." My husband immediately retorts, "An over-the-counter laxative that works that fast. How much did you put in?" She confessed that she had been gradually increasing the amount because it seemed like I was handling it fine, and today she put in more than ever. My husband, who had never taken a laxative before, drank it with alcohol. Maybe that's why he felt such intense pain. "It's a crime," my father-in-law, who had been silent, exclaimed with a pale face. "If Lisa consults the police, wouldn't this be assault?" "What? It was just a prank." My mother-in-law was shocked and argued back, but my father-in-law shook his head. "How is this just a prank? David actually got sick. Lisa has been suffering too. She just never told us." "Yes, I've been dealing with severe stomach pain and vomiting." "What? You're exaggerating. You never said anything." "No, it's true. I've seen it all along." "Mom, are you crazy? Why can't you understand that Lisa gets sick from your cooking?" Everyone was taken aback by my husband and father-in-law's words, even as my mother-in-law insisted it was a prank. This is insane. I can't eat Mom's cooking anymore. It's too risky. What do you think you're doing with people's lives? Finally, when my husband declared, "We're cutting ties," I faced my mother-in-law, Jessica. "What's the point of doing this? Why would you harass someone you hope will take care of you in your old age? Why destroy your own happiness? I generally don't understand. At this point, I can't imagine living with you or taking care of you, Jessica. Even if you think it's a prank, it's a crime. I can't believe you're not remorseful." That's an exaggeration." My mother-in-law was at a loss for words. "Of course it is." My father-in-law shouted in anger. "It's the same as poisoning someone's food. Lisa's family too. How could you do something so horrifying?" My mother-in-law's pride began to crumble. "Stop it. You're taking this too seriously." But it was clear she felt no remorse. I glanced at my husband. He nodded. So I decided to make my stance clear once more. "I'll be consulting the police, Jessica. I can't live with someone who shows no remorse and could be dangerous." Finally, when I said I would consult the police, my mother-in-law changed her attitude. "Stop. I'm sorry." She tried to cling to me, crying, but my father-in-law held her back. "I'm sorry. Forgive me." But I wasn't fooled. In the end, she was only apologizing to avoid being labeled a criminal. And so the dinner ended in chaos. Afterward, I consulted the police and filed a complaint. The police began an investigation, and my mother-in-law, finally seemed to understand the gravity of what she had done. My parents-in-law divorced, and my mother-in-law left on her own. I received a settlement from my father-in-law, which was part of my mother-in-law's assets. I'm glad we cut ties with her. Even if it's over-the-counter medicine, it's terrifying to have someone tamper with your food. My brother-in-law, who had brought his fiancée, miraculously avoided a breakup. Instead, they promised to cut ties with my mother-in-law and even wrote a pledge to improve my health and change my mood. My husband and I started walking together. Thanks to that, I became healthier. For a while, but recently, I have been feeling unwell again. I'm happy to say that I'm pregnant, and morning sickness has started. But I welcome this temporary discomfort.